Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do something just a little bit different. I want to talk about 10 things that I found really strange about the Netherlands. And these are things that probably aren't on those really standard lists, but things that I personally found really strange as an Australian. And we are currently stuck in Australia at the moment, and I feel like these last couple of weeks I've really been missing the Netherlands. I miss my family, our family over there, and I miss our friends over there. And you guys have looked like you've had an amazing summer, so I'm a little bit jealous. But yeah, it was nice to think back on all these things that I thought were really strange when I first moved to the Netherlands, but now they've like become a part of why I love the country so much. So without anything more, we'll jump straight into the video. The first major difference and things that I found the weirdest was obviously surrounded by Christmas. In Australia, it's really hot. You do everything outside, lots of barbecues, lots of sunburn, lots of cold salads, lots of pavlova. And I feel like my very first Christmas in the Netherlands was such a shock for me. So my very first thing is that Sinterklaas and Santa Claus are not the same thing. Absolutely not. Sinterklaas is a real person who comes from Spain. So he lives in Spain during the year, and then in December when it's really cold, he comes to the Netherlands and he hangs out in the Netherlands for like 3 weeks. This is not like a one-night thing like Santa. So he comes from Spain on a boat and he arrives in the Netherlands and he picks a different place every single year and they put it on TV. That's weird in itself, but it gets weirder. He rides a flying horse called Amagio. He comes 3 weeks before, and then on the 5th of December, he leaves, and he leaves presents in your shoes. So there are a lot of differences between Sinterklaas and Santa. Another few things around Christmas. My number 2 thing is Gourmetten. This might not be weird to Dutch people, but it is really strange. The first time I started hearing about Gourmetten, I couldn't work out what we were talking about. I know that the Dutch have a tendency to pronounce every letter that's in the word. There are no silent letters. And then when they adopt French words like buffet, they will say buffet. So when I heard people saying Gourmetten, I thought they just meant like the food would be gourmet, like gourmet food for Christmas. It's not. Gourmetten is when you have a hot plate in the middle of the table and everyone has ingredients. There's all like pre-cut ingredients around the side. I'll insert some photos. And then you all sit around the table and you cook your own food together, and sometimes there's little meats and vegetables and dipping sauces. It's a fun experience, but it's weird. It's really strange. And some of the first photos of Gourmetten that I saw on the internet, I just thought, what are these people doing? What are they doing? And a hot plate in the middle of a table with small children. This doesn't make sense. Why would we do that? The last thing, well, the third thing that I find weird, but the last thing related to Christmas is surprise. So in the Dutch culture, when you are giving a gift during Christmas, you put it inside another box. It's like a way of gift wrapping it. So you put the gift wrapped present in another present, and then the present is opened. The surprise is either meant to be funny, it's meant to like have something to do with the person, or it's meant to have something to do with the present that's inside. So for example, you might have someone who really likes to bake, and you would make a cake. Like you would literally make like a cake out of cardboard or milk cartons or whatever, and then you would put the present inside the cake. So it's a cookbook, a baking cookbook, and then you would put the present inside. It's like a piñata. It's like a piñata, a themed piñata for presents. It's weird. The Dutch do it. We did it for Christmas. We do it for Christmas. And yeah, it's stressful. I never know what I'm making, but it's also really fun. So that is the last Christmas related thing, but my third weird thing about the Netherlands that I kind of secretly miss. So my fourth thing is everyone's obsession with Hazes. He is a Dutch singer who was born in the 50s and basically pumped out hundreds of songs between the 70s and the early 2000s. Everyone in the Netherlands knows who he is, and everyone in the Netherlands also knows who his son is, because he now also makes music. If you put one of his songs on, everyone knows the words, everyone sings it as loud as they can. They might even start waving their arms around while they're in the room. It's weird. It's weird that everyone still likes it. It doesn't matter what age you are, everyone knows Hazes. There is a statue of him in the Straat, which I also find weird, but we used to live around the corner from there. Every time we walk past the statue, there are fresh flowers on the statue. Hazes is now dead, but people are like giving him flowers at this statue. It's just a little bit weird. It's weird that his songs are like super outdated, but that everyone knows them, and they are guaranteed to be put on at the very late hours of a party if everyone's had way too much to drink. Everyone knows the words. It's weird. The next thing that I find really strange about the Netherlands is using diseases and sicknesses to swear at people. This is really strange and kind of really offensive if you like transliterate it, because you're literally telling someone to like get sick and die, which is kind of intense as a way of swearing at someone. I think in English we obviously have a tendency to use like body fluids, but using sicknesses and wishing those sicknesses on people, it's actually really harsh. But yeah, that is what they do in the Netherlands. I find it really weird and kind of mean. The next thing I find really strange about the Netherlands is Bouwvak. Bouwvak is builder's vacation, and bouwvakkers are the people that take Bouwvak. The idea behind Bouwvak is kind of foreign to me. They get 4 weeks off, and it's like split out between like north, middle and south, the different regions, and you get 4 weeks. And it used to be compulsory, and they've changed it now that you like kind of have a conversation with your suppliers and your workers and who's taking vacation when. But it doesn't make sense. Why would there not be then kantoorvak? Why would you have pre-organized when all the builders in the country are going to take holidays? And then you've got a whole region of companies that are closed. It actually doesn't make sense. Why you wouldn't just say like, oh, zomervakantie. You can just take your holidays anywhere in summer, and then not everyone's taking holidays at the same, or a big group of people. I don't really get it. I know there's a lot of people that are Dutch that watch this channel, so like if someone can give me a better explanation, please let me know in the comments below. Bouwvak. It's weird. Another thing that they do in the Netherlands, and this has been mentioned in a lot of these like weird things about the Netherlands, is that people kiss 3 times, and I literally always forget. I cannot do it. I am someone who will like give a kiss on the cheek when I'm giving someone a hug anyway. So like I definitely go in to do it. That's something that you would do here in Australia. But then to do like the 3 times, I noticed that it's not like massive among younger generations, but if I'm visiting family and aunties and uncles and my partner's grandparents, that generation are still really big on the 3 kisses. I forget which side you go to first. I think it's like this side, 1, 2, 3. It can lead to awkward moments. And then some people go to do it and then some people don't do it. I don't know, kissing someone 3 times on the cheek seems a little excessive to me, but that's what they do in the Netherlands. So another weird thing. One thing I first learned when I was working in a restaurant, when I first moved to the Netherlands, and I didn't really speak that much Dutch. When you give something to someone, you say please. Or if someone says thank you to you, you say please. So someone would say dankjewel, and then you would say alsjeblieft, which is kind of like saying, oh, don't worry about it, but you're not saying don't worry about it. You're saying please. And I find the combination of words really, really strange. You can't say please when someone says thank you. It's like they're swapped around. It's strange. I've gotten used to it. It's almost like a habit now. When someone says dankjewel, you just say alsjeblieft. But at first I found it very, very strange. The next thing that I find really weird and definitely miss is applesauce on potatoes. This is a really, really strange combination. Not something I had ever tried before, but appelmoes in the Netherlands, as it's known, they put it on a lot of stuff, or maybe it's just my family, but it's weird at first, but putting it on patat, or like potatoes that you have with dinner, maybe it's an acquired taste, but it's delicious, and I kind of feel like I miss it. I feel like the applesauce that we have here in Australia isn't the same as the applesauce that they have in the Netherlands, but it's a weird combination and something that every Dutch person would know about. And the last thing that I find really, really weird about the Netherlands is that their stairs are literally like ladders inside an apartment or inside a building. It makes sense because it's space saving, like I totally get it, but it literally feels like you're climbing up a ladder. We lived on the 4th floor of an old building in the middle of Amsterdam. So the stairs to get up to our apartment, when my mother came over to visit, she literally like was having anxiety having to like walk down the stairs, because walking down stairs that are that steep is way scarier than walking upstairs like that. And the stairs are just crazy steep. They're also very narrow, and then the actual steps themselves, like you couldn't fit like your whole foot on the platform. You would get just like the ball of your foot on the step. So you're kind of like tiptoeing up the stairs, and then you're like really narrow at the same time. So they're a death trap, really. But that's just how all stairs are. And like, I understand the logic behind it, because like, why would you waste space in a house on a stairwell when you could just like make it really steep and then you'd have all this space to use? Like, I get it, but it's scary and it takes a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, I feel like this was probably like a really random list. Maybe some of these things you haven't heard before. If you are Dutch, please let me know in the comments below. What are some of the weird things that you've heard foreigners think about the Netherlands? Or if you are a foreigner or expat, what are some of the things that you have found really strange about the Netherlands? I really miss the Netherlands at the moment, and I was just thinking about all of these things that make the Netherlands and make the Dutch people Dutch, and it just was nice to kind of think back on all the things that I thought were really weird at first, but now I secretly miss. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please give it a thumbs up if you found some of these things were also really weird when you first got to the Netherlands, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.